Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this less than breaking news edition of Billievers Talk. Was breaking yesterday, kept the radio waves, the YouTube waves silent yesterday, but I wanted to make sure to get on here to give you guys the news that you've probably already heard. In my car, obviously lighting not the greatest, so I do apologize for that. Storming outside, so I don't even have a sun to go out and say hi to, but thank you guys for joining me on Billievers Talk as we talk about, and I'm only gonna be on here for a little bit, it's on my lunch break, so I want to make sure I go get some lunch, but I do want to talk about the news that came out yesterday about the Buffalo Bills not being able to use St. John Fisher's college football facilities for their training camp as they've done since the year 2000. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk also about some other announcements made by the NFL yesterday, if you guys heard them or not. And then I'll also answer any questions, thoughts that you guys may have in the comment section. So be sure to leave a comment. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Billievers Talk, make sure you hit that subscribe button for continual breaking Buffalo Bills and NFL news right here on Billievers Talk. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the Buffalo Bills having to move their training facility from St. John Fisher College to Buffalo Bills, now over at One Bills Drive, use their new training facilities. And that's a good thing for the Buffalo Bills if you are a Bills fan. I know that a lot of Bills fans will be depressed and upset about the fact that the training camp had to be moved from St. John Fisher. But the good news is the Buffalo Bills did just spend $18 million on a new training facility. So that's something that the Buffalo Bills will have. They will have access to that. And you can still recreate a lot of the atmosphere that you may create over at St. John Fisher. One thing that Coach McDermott said they always liked about going to St. John Fisher is the fact that you get that camaraderie, those guys going up there, staying in the dorm rooms, right, doing things like that. It's more the off the field stuff that Coach McDermott and some of these players were really looking forward to that they'll really miss out on. You get to know a little bit about the players on the field, but you really get to know more about them off the field. Now, we know that they had practice there or training camp at St. John Fisher last year, 2019, 2018, going back to 2000. However, you have new players this year, right? I mean, you got those 7 new draft picks. You want to know a little bit about them, what they can do, how they can contribute to the team, and what they might mean to some other teammates. And then you also have the guys that you picked up in free agency, still trying to learn the system. You talk about a team that, and all the NFL teams doing their OTAs via Skype or via Zoom or whatever it might be. They're not able to meet physically during this pandemic period. And again, guys, make sure that you are being safe out there. I really do hope that you are all being safe and following any advice you are receiving, whether it be about COVID or anything else. And if you're currently furloughed or anything like that, I absolutely wish you guys just the best in those situations. But let me go over this real quick. Again, Roger Goodell sending a memo to all 32 teams, letting them know that all of the clubs' training camps have to be done at their home facility. So obviously for Buffalo, this means, as I lose my phone, guys, I'll be right back. There I am. Ha ha ha. We're gonna laugh at Joe. But yeah, what this means, guys, is that, hey, there's not going to be training camping at St. John Fisher, as we talked about. And so that means that the Buffalo Bills will be meeting at One Bills Drive for their training camp. Now, like I said, this doesn't mean that you can't try to recreate some of the atmosphere that you have at St. John Fisher. We were pretty sure there wasn't going to be a crowd at training camp anyway. We were pretty sure that the NFL wasn't going to allow that, no matter where it was, whether it be at St. John Fisher or it was at One Bills Drive. I don't think there was planning to be a crowd in July during training camp anyhow. But also, another thing came out of this NFL memo to the other teams. There will be no allowance for joint practices. A lot of times you'll see in the NFL, they'll do a joint practice with another team. We were in talks with the Atlanta Falcons about trying to get a joint practice together with them during the preseason. Obviously, we played the Atlanta Falcons the second week of preseason, and we were hoping to get something in then, but now it looks like we can't have joint practices. That one, I don't know if that makes sense to me, only because if you are playing these teams in preseason, then what's the difference? What's it matter? If you're going to see these players for 4 hours on a Saturday, obviously the date's not set yet, Thursday through Saturday, then what's it matter if you're with them for 2-3 more days? Now, I'm not a medical expert, so obviously I can't answer that question. However, that's something that pops in my head, unless the NFL is planning on canceling preseason altogether or maybe postponing the season start. So that could be a sign that that's about about to occur here in the NFL. But those are just some questions that I have. Obviously, again, training camp, the big news. The Buffalo Bills currently have a contract with St. John Fisher to host their training camp through 2021. Not sure if that will change with this development here about the NFL canceling it this season. Maybe we'll extend it by a season, who knows. But there were rumblings about the Buffalo Bills canceling their time at St. John Fisher when this contract was up. Anyhow, since 2017, the amount of time spent at St. John Fisher has declined. For example, last season, we actually only had 10 practices at St. John, 8 of them being open practices. The season before that, we had 14 practices with 11 of them being open. And then the season before that, we had 13 open practices at St. John Fisher. So you see the number of practices at St. John Fisher going down. So there were some Bills fans concerned that they wouldn't have it at St. John Fisher for too much longer. Wonder how this is going to affect that. Again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. I did not want to be on here long. I want to go grab some lunch. Obviously, there's a lot going on in this world, so I hope everyone's staying safe. But again, thank you for joining me on this edition of Believers Talk. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.